If you looked at global supply chain data on June 22, 2026, you'd probably think there was some sort of international crisis unfolding.
Right, like a massive geopolitical event.
Exactly. Or maybe some unprecedented global summit. Because you'd see major television networks in South Korea abruptly ripping up their broadcast schedules.
Just completely changing them on the fly.
Yeah. And you'd see these massive coordinated digital networks in Latin America just flooding global algorithms.
Yeah.
Plus international cargo ships and freight planes hauling staggering loads of physical goods.
All going to a single mid-sized office building in Seoul.
Right. And at the exact same time, you track these decentralized, localized charity operations spinning up out of nowhere in places like the Philippines and India.
It's wild when you look at it that way.
It really is. If you were just looking at the raw, cold data on a dashboard, you would assume governments or massive corporations were mobilizing. But it wasn't a geopolitical crisis, and it wasn't a multinational treaty.
No, it was a birthday party.
A 39th birthday party, specifically, for one guy, South Korean actor Lee Min-ho. Welcome to our deep dive. We have a really fascinating stack of notes and reports to go through with you today.
We really do.
And our mission today is to figure out how a single individual's birthday acts as the catalyst for this globally coordinated logistical and philanthropic phenomenon.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
Okay, let's unpack this, because what looks like a simple celebrity birthday on your social media feed is actually an absolute masterclass in global mobilization. And I think it completely redefines how we should be thinking about the mechanics of influence.
It really does. Because to truly understand what happened on this specific Tuesday in June, well, we have to strip away the confetti and the cake.
Right.
We aren't just talking about a popular actor blowing out some candles and, trending on Twitter for a few hours. We are looking at the heavy machinery of a 20-year legacy, a legacy operating at the absolute peak of the Hallyu wave.
And just for anyone listening who might not be super familiar with the term, the Hallyu wave is that massive, deliberate global proliferation of South Korean culture, right?
Exactly. From K-pop to dramas to cinema. What we are analyzing today is the sheer kinetic energy that gets released when one person remains a central load-bearing pillar of that global wave for 2 straight decades.
Right, because the scale of this mobilization doesn't just happen overnight. You don't get international cargo shipments and global charity networks for a flash-in-the-pan celebrity.
Definitely not. You need infrastructure for that.
Exactly. The reports we have are very clear that this 2026 celebration marks a 20-year legacy. And the fan networks globally were sharing these incredibly produced media packages tracing his whole trajectory.
Yeah, I saw those.
They focused heavily on his transition from his 2009 breakthrough role in a massive hit called Boys Over Flowers, all the way up to his recent gigantic blockbuster productions, like Omniscient Reader, The Prophecy.
And that timeline is everything. Sustaining relevance in the global entertainment industry for 2 years is incredibly difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
Doing it for 20 while continuously escalating the artistic scale and the budget of your projects, that requires a completely different mechanism of cultural resonance. You aren't just an entertainer anymore. You become a fixture in people's lives.
Think about his career trajectory like a tech startup.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. If you look at Boys Over Flowers back in 2009, that was his disruptive, viral app. It was explosive, it was everywhere, and it acquired this massive initial global user base.
But you cannot survive for 20 years on one viral app.
Exactly. The market changes, tastes change. You have to evolve from a trendy app into an operating system. So when he takes on these incredibly complex, heavy roles later in his career.
Like Omniscient Reader.
Yeah, or his critically acclaimed performance as Kohansu in Pachinko. He is essentially transitioning into foundational blue-chip infrastructure.
Yeah.
He goes from being a sensation to being a permanent institution in the entertainment ecosystem.
What's fascinating here is how that blue-chip status forces actual rigid corporate power to bend to his gravitational pull.
How so?
Well, the fan compilations, the tribute videos, those are expected. That is standard operating procedure for fan culture. But the notes highlight something much more mechanically impressive. Local television networks in South Korea, specifically TVN, actively adjusted their corporate broadcasting schedules to honor his birthday weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, they specifically chose to air his performance in Pachinko.
Wait, I have to push back on that, or at least slow down, because that is wild to me. Corporate television schedules are not just a Spotify playlist you can shuffle on a whim.
No, they certainly aren't.
They are locked in months in advance. Advertisers buy specific slots based on the demographic they think will be watching at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. You can't just rip that up.
Exactly. Broadcast schedules are highly rigid, multi-million-dollar spreadsheets, so why would a major network like TVN do it?
Right, why would they?
Well, they aren't doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, and they aren't doing it just to be nice to an actor. They are doing it because it is a calculated financial exploitation of his blue-chip status.
So it's about guaranteed return on investment.
Precisely. TVN's data analysts know that this 20-year fan infrastructure is going to mobilize on June 22nd. They know millions of highly engaged viewers are going to be online talking about him, looking for content.
Oh, I see.
So by shifting their schedule to air Pachinko, the network captures that guaranteed tidal wave of attention. They can turn around to their advertisers and say, look, we are throwing out our normal Saturday programming because we can guarantee you a massive, highly engaged demographic spike this weekend.
That is incredible.
It dictates institutional media behavior. It is the broadcasting establishment formally acknowledging that surrendering their schedule to this actor's birthday is the most profitable thing they can do.
Okay, so he essentially owns the corporate media establishment for the weekend. But as impressive as TVN changing a schedule is, it's still top-down corporate behavior. What really blew my mind in these source materials is what is happening at the grassroots level.
The localized stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once we establish that blue-chip power on screen, we have to look at how it translates off-screen. Let's look at the Philippines.
Right, the translation of digital popularity into boots-on-the-ground action.
Exactly. It's one thing to have millions of people like your photo.
It's a completely different level of power to point that digital popularity at a real-world problem and say, fix this, and they actually do.
It's powerful.
Very. The official fan club in the Philippines, Minoz Philippines, hosted an event in Cubao. They called it Love and Mino, a birthday cup sleeve event for hope.
And for anyone who isn't deep into Asian pop culture, a cup sleeve event is a massive staple.
Right. Usually fans rent out a local cafe, decorate it wall to wall with pictures of the celebrity, and when you buy a coffee, you get a custom collectible cardboard sleeve with the star's face on it. It's essentially a fun social networking gathering.
But the Minoz Philippines group took that standard, purely social template and completely re-engineered it. This event in Cubao wasn't just a meetup. It was specifically designed to benefit children supported by an organization called Bahia Ruga.
And we really need to pause and appreciate the logistical brilliance of that pivot.
Yeah, it's so smart.
They took a pre-existing cultural behavior, the cafe gathering, which people were already going to attend anyway, and they injected it with a hyper-local philanthropic engine.
Right.
They didn't have to convince people to show up to a charity drive. They just added a charitable mechanism to an event that was already guaranteed to have massive foot traffic.
It's brilliant. But it doesn't stop in the Philippines. We see the exact same thing happening in India, but with a different structure.
Right, the donation structure.
Yeah. The La Minho Lovers India Fan Club organized the Minho Birthday Project 2026. They gathered fan gifts, which is normal, but they also structured cash donations of exactly 500 rupees per participant.
A very specific buy-in.
Exactly. And that pooled money was used to fund local humanitarian causes in his name. But hold on, I need to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Please do.
If I am scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, and I see a random fan account asking me to wire them a rigid 500 rupee buy-in for a quote-unquote birthday project, my scan radar immediately goes off.
Oh, absolutely.
I am running in the other direction. How on earth do these decentralized fan clubs establish the kind of trust necessary to pool real hard cash without the legal oversight or auditing of a traditional charity?
That is the million-dollar question, and the answer is entirely based on a reputation economy.
A reputation economy.
Yeah. You were thinking about it like a cold call from a stranger. But these fan networks aren't strangers. They have been interacting online, sharing content, translating videos, and building community for years, sometimes decades.
So the trust is already baked in.
Deeply baked in. Fandoms operate on intense social proof. The leaders of these fan clubs have track records. They post receipts, they show the bank transfers, they show photos of the local charities receiving the funds.
Okay, that makes sense.
If a fan club mismanages a single dollar, they are instantly exiled by the global community. The accountability is actually incredibly fierce.
Wow.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what you are describing is the evolution of fandoms into decentralized non-governmental organizations, NGOs.
That's a great way to put it.
Think about traditional NGOs for a second. A traditional charity spends massive amounts of overhead, sometimes up to 30 or 40% of their budget, just trying to acquire donors, run marketing campaigns, build a community, and find a unifying cause.
Right. The overhead is huge just to get people to care in the first place.
Exactly. But fandoms have zero overhead. They already have the community. They already have the unifying cause, which is the celebrity.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Their communication channels through Discord, Twitter, or dedicated forums, they're already perfectly established. So when a milestone like a 39th birthday occurs, they don't have to build the fundraising machine from scratch. They just have to turn the key. The machine is already idling.
They were essentially applying corporate fundraising efficiency to grassroots enthusiasm.
Yes. The brilliance of what happened in Cubao with Bahayaruga and the structured 500 rupee donations in India is that they are bridging massive global star power with hyper-local community needs.
Right.
They are taking the abstract concept of an international celebrity and focusing it like a laser beam on a local children's charity or a regional humanitarian cause. The celebrity isn't even involved in the day-to-day planning. He just serves as the conduit for local civic action.
A decentralized NGO.
Yeah.
I think that framing completely changes how you look at a trending hashtag. It shifts the perspective from, obsessed fans clicking to highly organized philanthropic units executing localized operations.
It really does change the paradigm.
But that brings us to the sheer logistical scale of this entire event. We've talked about the local charity in the Philippines and India, but when you zoom out and look at the global map, the deep dive reveals this completely bizarre contrast.
Between the digital and the physical?
Yes. Between the frictionless digital world and the very heavy, very real physical world.
The logistics of global adoration are staggering when you actually break down the mechanics of what happens on the ground.
Let's look at Latin America first. We have incredibly dedicated communities like Planeta Minoz in Mexico. They mobilize these highly coordinated social media waves.
Using very specific tags.
Right, very specific unified viral tags. Happy Li Minho Day and Happy Mino Day Mijo. They essentially launched a digital tsunami specifically designed to flood and hijack global trending algorithms.
And the beauty of it is that it's entirely frictionless.
Exactly. It travels at the speed of light, it crosses borders instantaneously, and it costs the participants absolutely nothing but their time.
It's basically a massive digital roll call. You have millions of people coordinating across different time zones just to raise their hands at the exact same moment and say to the algorithms, we are here and we are paying attention.
Yeah.
It requires enormous coordination, but physically it has zero footprint.
Right. But then you contrast that frictionless digital wave originating from Mexico with what was happening simultaneously in South Korea. Because for all that digital air cover, there is a very heavy, very physical reality occurring on the ground in Seoul.
Oh, yes. The packages.
The reports note that his management agency, MYM Entertainment, had to manage a massive influx of incoming packages. We are talking about gigantic floral arrangements, custom designer gifts, and bulk shipments sent directly to Seoul by international supporters.
This raises an important question about the hidden infrastructure required to manage modern celebrity. We often think of stardom as something that exists cleanly on a screen or in a digital feed.
Right, it feels intangible.
But this dichotomy perfectly illustrates the unseen reality.
Let's actually visualize this for a second. Put yourself in the shoes of the mailroom manager or the receptionist at MYM Entertainment in Seoul.
I wouldn't want that job on June 22nd.
Right. It's fundamentally just a corporate office building. But on the days leading up to June 22, 2026, it effectively has to operate like a major global logistics hub during the absolute peak of the holiday shipping season.
Just absolute chaos.
You have international freighters arriving at the port. You have customs agents trying to clear luxury goods. You have local delivery trucks converging on this one specific street in Seoul. It is the overwhelming physical manifestation of this global love.
And consider the specialized management required for that. Those massive floral arrangements from international fan clubs, they're perishable.
Oh, true.
They require climate control transport. The designer goods require tax and tariff clearances. A talent management agency in 2026 isn't just negotiating movie contracts and endorsing brands anymore. On days like this, they're essentially running a mid-sized import-export business just to handle a birthday.
It's the physical weight of 20 years of blue chip status.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just delete a massive floral arrangement if it takes up too much space in the lobby, like you can delete an email. You have to physically manage it, log it, store it, and dispose of the packaging. It's an incredible logistical burden.
Precisely. And it requires a sophisticated dual-pronged strategy from his team.
How so?
Well, you have to monitor and enthusiastically engage with the digital tsunami from Latin America, ensuring those fans feel seen, validated, and appreciated for their algorithm work. But simultaneously, you're managing the very real physical logistics of international cargo piling up at your loading dock.
It's a lot to juggle.
It's a fascinating look at the dual reality of a peak Hallyu Wave icon. The digital love is infinite, but the physical space to put it all is strictly finite.
So what does this all mean? If we pull all these threads together, we see that Lee Min-ho's 39th birthday on June 22, 2026 isn't just a party. It is a perfect, isolated case study of modern global stardom.
It really is.
We've seen how a 20-year career evolution, growing from the explosive viral app energy of Boys Over Flowers to the critically acclaimed blue-chip prestige of Pachinko, earns a level of institutional power so strong that major television networks like TVN will completely re-engineer their rigid broadcast schedules just to capture the demographic wave.
Yeah.
We've seen how that cultural capital is weaponized for good, transforming pre-existing fan clubs in the Philippines and India into hyper-local, decentralized NGOs.
Yeah, the Bahia-Ruga benefits.
Exactly. Turning standard cup sleeve events into critical funding and utilizing intense social trust to organize strict 500 rupee donation drives for humanitarian causes without a single cent wasted on corporate overhead.
It's remarkable efficiency.
And we've seen the sheer logistical madness of it all, balancing frictionless algorithm flooding hashtags from Mexico with the heavy physical reality of endless cargo ships and delivery trucks descending on MYM Entertainment in Seoul.
And as we always say on this show, knowledge is most valuable when you can apply it to how you view the world. I think the real takeaway for anyone listening at this deep dive today is to fundamentally change your perspective on modern celebrity fan bases.
Stop looking at them just as consumers.
Exactly. We have to stop looking at them purely as consumers of entertainment. What we are actually observing is a massive, untapped engine for global humanitarian logistics. When millions of people can coordinate across digital and physical spaces, pooling funds and directing resources on a random Tuesday in June, well, that is a resource. That is a highly organized, highly motivated human infrastructure.
Which leaves me with one final thought for you to mull over as we wrap up today. We just spent this entire deep dive unpacking the massive coordinated global infrastructure, the 500 rupee donations, the Bahia-Ruga benefits, the schedule-shifting broadcasts, the viral waves, all of which was mobilized for his 39th birthday.
Right, 39.
So how will this decentralized global engine mutate and escalate when he hits the massive milestone of his 40th birthday next year?
Oh, that's a great question.
If this is the logistical weight of turning 39, what does 40 look like? Could we eventually see a world where traditional established charities stop spending millions on marketing and instead start actively outsourcing their fundraising operations directly to international fan bases?
It's definitely possible.
Because if you're looking at that global dashboard and you see the power of that 20-year legacy spiking on June 22nd, you might just realize that the most powerful logistical networks in the world aren't governments, and they aren't shipping corporations. They are the fans.